All right, so let's jump right in. We've got a whole stack of source material here, all analyzing what's become this wildly popular fantasy romance survival story, the Powerless Trilogy. And our mission today is, well, it's not just to summarize the plot. We really want to get beneath the surface to uncover the core dynamics, the emotional engines, and the surprisingly deep themes that drive this whole narrative.
It's all about rebellion and deception, really. And it's built on a world where the inequality is. It's not just prejudice, it's literally the law.
It's the whole foundation.
Exactly. The central premise is just brutal. The world rewards strength, and we're talking supernatural power here, and it violently purges weakness. This creates an unshakable caste system.
Right, so you have the elites who have all the power, and the ordinaries who are, well, they're treated as subhuman.
And that distinction is everything. If you're trying to get a handle on this series, you have to understand that being an ordinary isn't just about lacking abilities.
No, it means you are actively hunted.
Hunted, imprisoned, or killed.
Yeah.
Your entire worth, your safety, your future is decided by something you're either born with or you're not.
And that's systemic cruelty. That's what sets up the central question we're going to explore in this deep dive.
It is. In a kingdom where power is the only thing that matters, what choice does a person have if they're born with none? That tension, that's what makes the main character's journey so compelling.
Let's talk about her then, Paedyn Gray.
Yeah.
She is the ultimate underdog. An ordinary, no magical abilities at all.
Zero.
But she has somehow found a way to survive in this hyper-vigilant, lethal world. And here's the paradox of it all. Her entire survival strategy is based on deception, constant high-stakes deception.
Every single day she has to pretend to be an elite.
Which is just
an
incredible amount of pressure.
And this is where the narrative, I think, really shines. All the sources we looked at make it super clear that Paedyn's strength isn't magical at all. It's rooted in this phenomenal mental fortitude. Resilience, sharp intelligence, observation. She has to be the most observant person in any room she walks into.
Because her life depends on it.
Her physical safety relies entirely on exploiting the arrogance and predictability of the powerful people around her. One mistake, and she's dead.
So it's more than just pretending. It's a full-on performance. She's not just hiding that she's powerless. She's actively building a persona that fits what an elite is supposed to be.
And her strength isn't that she can fool everyone. It's that she can fool the system.
Oh, that's a great distinction.
She uses misdirection. She exploits the fact that the elites just assume no ordinary would ever be that daring or, that smart to infiltrate their ranks. The system's own certainty becomes her shield.
So every day is a tightrope walk. One emotional slip, one moment of real panic.
And it's over. Instant exposure, instant death. The psychological cost is immense. She's carrying this life or death secret 24/7.
It's a kind of strength, but it's an exhausting one.
It absolutely is. She's constantly filtering her reactions, anticipating threats, reading people. It makes her so much more than a typical plucky heroine. She's defined by this relentless, disciplined courage, that deep mental reservoir. That's the only power she actually has.
Which brings us directly to the biggest threat to her existence and the biggest source of the conflict, Kai Azer.
Kai, yeah. He is the male lead, and he is everything Paedyn is not, and everything she's terrified of.
He's powerful, feared the king's enforcer.
And deadly. He's literally trained to execute ordinaries without mercy. He is the ultimate enforcer of the cruel system she's trying to survive in.
Okay, if he's that dedicated to the system, how does this forbidden connection even start? Where are the cracks in that facade?
That's the brilliance of his character. He's complicated. The sources all confirm that underneath all that power and unwavering duty, he's got some serious doubt and guilt.
Oh, okay.
He's clearly struggling with the moral cost of what he does. He thinks of himself as a protector of the kingdom, but his job requires him to be relentlessly cruel.
So Paedyn isn't just a physical threat to him, if he found out. She's a philosophical threat.
100%. Just by existing near him and being human in a way that defies the elite stereotype of ordinaries, she forces him to question everything.
Everything he believes about power, justice, worth.
Exactly. That internal conflict is the key pivot point for the whole trilogy. He's the character who has to choose, uphold the prejudice of his society, or follow this new morality that Paedyn represents.
And that, of course, is what gives rise to the slow burn, Emotionally intense and profoundly forbidden romance.
It's so dangerous because he is meant to kill people like her, and she is lying to his face about the most fundamental thing about her. It's the ultimate enemies to lovers setup.
But it's more than just a trope.
Oh, much more. The longing, the desire, the pain, it's all baked into the systemic conflict. If their feelings come out, it's not just a breakup. It threatens both their lives. It threatens the entire political order.
So their intimacy is basically an act of rebellion.
A literal act of rebellion against the crown.
Yeah. Okay, let's trace this whole thing through the arc of the trilogy. Starting with book 1, Powerless. What really kicks things off?
Powerless just throws Paedyn right into the fire. She is forced to participate in the purging trials.
Which are not good.
Not good is an understatement. Think of them as a political spectacle. They're brutal, public, violent, competitions designed to reinforce elite superiority and humiliate anyone who fails.
And the risk for her is just astronomical. She's in a competition designed to showcase magical abilities.
That she doesn't have. She has to rely entirely on that discipline, on her deception. And since the trials are public, the threat of exposure is constant. One slip up and she dies. Instantly.
And this is where she and Kai really connect.
It is. In this high-pressure, enclosed environment, their relationship is forged. They get closer in the middle of all this violence, and that creates this incredible tension between trust and fear.
And he's supposed to be overseeing the trials, right? So he's
Yeah.
right there, watching her deceptive persona up close.
Exactly. Every single interaction is a razor's edge. The system forces them together, which, paradoxically, is what allows them to see the humanity under their public roles.
Yeah.
It makes survival so uncertain for both of them.
Then we get to book 2, Reckless. This is the big turning point. The sources all say the truth changes everything. The deception fails.
And the consequences come crashing down. This is the heartbreak book. It moves from the immediate danger of the trials to the much bigger world of political manipulation and just raw emotional fallout. Paedyn has to face her identity being exposed, which shatters the fragile trust she built with Kai.
And for Kai, the choice becomes impossible. He's caught between his duty to the king, his feelings for Paedyn, and this new moral compass he's developing.
Right. He has to somehow reconcile the person he loves with the criminal he was trained to kill. The narrative just leans so heavily into the psychological pain of that betrayal.
And at the same time, the rebellion among the ordinaries starts to grow.
It becomes a real central political force fueled by Paedyn's story. The whole narrative shifts from personal survival to societal revolution.
So Reckless really hammers home the idea that the deepest damage in a corrupt system is often psychological. The impossible choices, the broken trust.
Absolutely. The tension isn't just will they survive, but can their love survive? Can you really rebuild trust when one person was lying just to stay alive? It's a powerful question.
And that brings us to book 3, Fearless. The climax. War, sacrifice, the final reckoning.
This is where it all comes to a head. Paedyn finally sheds that identity of the powerless girl hiding. She steps into her role not as someone powerful with magic, but as a leader, someone who is, undeniably fearless.
She becomes a symbol.
Precisely. The final confrontation isn't just about spells and swords. It's a thematic war between injustice and fairness, cruelty and compassion. It's about deciding what kind of world should exist.
Which brings us to the themes, because this is so much more than a romance. It's really a critique just wrapped in a fantasy story.
The sources all point to a few core themes. First and foremost, social inequality and the moral responsibility that comes with power. The world is built on this literal power hierarchy, which forces you to think about what happens when ability dictates worth.
And identity, obviously, is huge. This whole idea of choice versus destiny. Paedyn was destined to be a worthless ordinary, but she chose to fight that with her will and her intelligence.
The central conflict is always power versus humanity. Their romance is basically an act of choosing human connection in a world built on division. That contrast is the engine of the whole series.
Let's talk about the writing style for a second, because that's what hooks people.
Yeah.
Lauren Roberts' writing is always described as, immersive, dramatic, fast-paced.
And intensely emotional. The balance is key. The emotional weight of the romance never slows down the high-stakes survival plot. They actually fuel each other. Every moment of intimacy raises the political stakes.
And that blend explains why it appeals to so many people, especially if you're a fan of series like The Hunger Games or Red Queen.
It's the structural overlap. Like The Hunger Games, you've got a brutal power forcing young people into deadly competitions. Like Red Queen or Fourth Wing, you have a hero who has to succeed inside a system that's designed to crush them.
And that morally complex male lead is a huge draw. People love that enemies to lovers dynamic, especially when he has to shatter his own beliefs to accept her truth.
And we can't forget the appeal of a strong female lead who succeeds without powers. In a genre that's so often about who has the coolest magic, Paedyn's success, based purely on her intellect and grit, that sends a really powerful message.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Final takeaway review. Looking across all the sources, the most powerful idea here really transcends fantasy. It's that you do not need magic to be strong.
Right. The strength of the ordinaries is defined by courage, choice, compassion, things that are human and completely missing from the elite's definition of power. Paedyn's journey is proof of that thesis. She finds power in the very things the world told her were weaknesses.
It's a really compelling piece of social commentary.
Which leaves a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to mull over after this. If a world, whether it's fantasy or our own, is designed to value ability or privilege above all else, does that world inherently doom itself? By rejecting the strength that you can only find in humanity, in moral choice, in true courage, does the system miss the very qualities that could actually save it?
A fantastic question to end on. If you are looking for a series that delivers on high emotional stakes, a compelling moral conflict, and a truly powerful heroine, all our sources suggest this is your next